Hi! So I know some of you were interested in me making fish videos about my fish because one day I did an Instagram story about one of my shrimp, and yeah, some of you were interested in me making fish videos, so here is the first one. So I'm gonna start off with the first time I was actually ever responsible for a fish. And that was back when I was about 14. And back then I didn't know anything about fish. I didn't know anything anything about fish. So the way I got this fish, one day I went to the fair, and there's a game which is like a pyramid, and there's fish bowls all around, and you get a little, like a ping pong ball or something, and you throw it. If it lands in anything, whatever is in there is your prize. And I ended up winning a sabunkin fish, and I think I'm saying that right. It's a type of goldfish. And I remember after that, my parents ended up taking me to the store, and we bought a fish kit, a fish tank kit. And it came with the fish tank, obviously. It came with the filtration. It came with water conditioner, and that's pretty much it. It was pretty basic. And like I said, back then I didn't know anything about fish. I didn't know about ammonia. I didn't know about nitrate. I didn't know about nitrite. pH balance. I didn't even know about heaters or anything like that. I just knew I had a fish. It needed a tank, it needed water, and the only reason I even knew about the water conditioner was because it came with the kit. So that's that. I remember setting it up in my room. One day, at the time, my brother's wife had fish too, and I remember one day she came over and she ended up giving me a fish because she said that her fish were passing away. She didn't know what was going on with her fish. She didn't know what was happening, why they were all passing away. And the last one she had, she gave it to me. She said, I know you have a fish. I know you're doing something right because your fish is still thriving. So I took in the fish. Like I said, I didn't know anything about fish back then. I didn't even acclimate my fish. I just put him in there. It did good. So the fish tank that I actually had was a 5-gallon fish tank. So listen, now I know that a 5-gallon is not suitable for any type of fish, much less two, which I had two in there. It was the sabunkin fish, which was like a nice brown color with like light blue undertones, and I named him Mater. I didn't know if it was a male or a female because back then I didn't know how to sex fish either. So I had him, and then I had the black goldfish that my brother's wife gave me. I think they're called telescope goldfish, which is the ones with the big eyes. Well, I don't know much about goldfish because that's not the type of fish I currently own or I currently have that much knowledge in. So I had these fish, two fish in a 5-gallon tank, which is bad. You know what? Not even a betta fish is good in a 5-gallon tank, you guys. Please, just a tangent. Do not have betta fish in a gallon tank. Do not have them in their bowl. Please have them in at least a 10-gallon tank. Please, please, please. Anyways, besides that, back on track. So one day I ended up going on vacation with my mom for 2 weeks, and I remember going to my sister and telling her like, hey, can you take care of my fish? All you have to do is feed them once a day. I think I was feeding them once a day. This amount, blah blah blah. Okay, good. Go on vacation. When I come back, I come back to a really, really dirty fish tank, but it wasn't algae or anything like that, which was kind of odd now that I'm thinking about it. There was no algae or anything, just the water was like really brown and murky and gross. And I remember there was foam on top, which I thought it was weird, but I didn't think much about it because I never let my fish tank get that dirty. But anyways, so I was a little confused about the bubbles that were on top, the little foam. And I remember it was really late at night when I got home, so I went straight to my fish tank. I said hello to my fish. I told them that I was really tired and that I would clean their fish tank as soon as I wake up in the morning. So, greeted my fish, said all of that, went to sleep. Next morning, I wake up and I'm excited, to clean my fish tank and stuff. And my fish passed away at night. So I was devastated and I was really, really sad. I was beating myself up about it. I was just pretty much just telling myself like, oh, if you weren't lazy, if you just washed the fish tank at night before going to sleep, you could have avoided everything, It was probably because it was really, really dirty and stuff like that. And I just remember being like really, really sad. And then I told my mom, and she basically just said, well, the water was really dirty. And I said, yeah, I know. And then at that moment, my sister comes in the conversation and she said, yeah, well, when you were gone, the fish tank was dirty too. It ended up getting super dirty, so I cleaned the fish tank. And she ended up cleaning the fish tank. She ended up cleaning the filtration sponge with soap. And I guess she didn't really rinsed it out that well. So that was the foam and like the bubbles that I saw on top of the fish tank and the water. But I mean, back then, none of my family knew much about fish. But I would think it would be common sense not to wash anything with soap, much less like have traces of soap in a fish tank, because I don't know, I just think it's common sense. I never washed the soap. I mean, I never washed the sponge with soap. I never did any of that. I just remember rinsing it, which I know it's better to rinse it in the fish tank water rather than clean water. But yeah, I would just rinse it out and stuff like that. So when my sister said that, it kind of all clicked. Like, that was the soap it was soap that I saw. And I didn't beat myself up too much about it after that, knowing what caused my fish to pass away. I mean, I know it wasn't anything I did, so I don't know, I guess it's not on my conscience. But yeah, and even now I'm thinking about it, like, even if I were to do a water change, the fish, I don't know how long the fish were poisoned, so even if I did do the water change, it probably the results would have been the same. Because I mean, they were in that water pretty well. And if I didn't know that my sister washed it out with soap, chances are the cycle would still have soap in it and everything. So pretty much, even if I did a water change, what happened wouldn't be able to change. So I'm not exactly sure how long I had the fish for. Pretty much, I guess, like 6 months I had the fish. But yeah, they were thriving, they were really good, and I feel like I've always had a good thing when it came to fish, even though goldfish are very good common fish. They're really good starter fish, they're really hardy and everything like that. But still, like, it was my first fish. I think I did really good. So, like I said, it was back when I was 14. So I actually ended up drawing my fish, and that's what he looked like. Yeah, he was like brown with undertones of blue. I named him Mater because he looked rusty. So, not that good. I didn't know how to do watercolor, and you could tell I was frustrated because it's unfinished and it never turned out the way I wanted it to. But yeah, this is the only thing I have left of that fish. But yeah, I mean, you could tell that it was a big impact for me just the fact that I even drew the fish. I remember thinking it was the most beautiful fish on earth. So yeah, my fish, that's the story of my first fish that I was ever responsible for. I want to continue making videos about my fish or just my pets in general. It's gonna be more so of like a journal diary, video diary type stuff. So you'll pretty much be able to see how much I've improved. I got back into the hobby this year in January. So, you know, I'm still pretty new. I'm a beginner. And I have a lot of plans for my fish. I want to focus more so on aquascaping and things like that because I really like live plants. I like greenery. I like how it looks. I don't even know if that's a word, greenery. But I like how it looks like under the fluorescent lights and all that stuff. It's just me researching, getting information here and there, even from you guys and stuff like that. Just, yeah, to have a bunch of pet stories that I could pretty much say. You guys pretty much can see one right there. The little ball that's been scratching probably the whole entire video. But yeah, I have a whole bunch of like really cool stuff that I think you guys might be interested in, and I want to take you guys step by step in how I do my fish tank setups and all that stuff. And I will be doing a whole bunch of research on aquascaping, you know, how to make things look good to the eye and things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now. But hopefully you guys keep watching. Hopefully you guys like this video. Like I said, it's more like a journal diary, so I will be putting out more videos. So yeah, bye.